Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for September 2019. This month, we begin with a lot of Virgo activity in your 10th house of career. So, some career development is definitely going on, and that's going to be followed by a lot of movement of these Virgo planets over into the 11th house, which is your social life, which you love, Sagittarius. So, let's see what the ladies of Pandora Astrology have to say about all this. Julia, what are your thoughts on Mercury's activity this month?
Well, Sagittarius, for the first half of the month, Mercury is going to be in your 10th house. And the 10th house is the most public house in the zodiac. It's the house of career, it's your public standing. And there's going to be a greater epiphany day on the 2nd of the month, which means Mercury is going to be moving really, really fast and passing through past the sun. And really strong in the sign of Virgo too. So that's going to be a great time for you to sort of put your mind to your career goals right now and enacting any sort of strategies that may help you with your job or your business. And if you have any work contracts to sign, then that's going to be a really good time for it. And as well as if your career involves any writing or speaking, that's just really strong for the first half of the month. But then when Mercury moves into the 11th house of groups and networks, that's going to occur on the 14th of September. That's going to be a very good time for if you're involved in any social media campaigns, just putting your word out there because of that connection to networks in general. And it's also a wonderful time to start sort of strategizing about your long-term goals because it's also the house of wishes and dreams. So Natha, what do you see for Venus and Mars coming up this month?
Hi, Sag. So let's talk about Venus first. Venus is going to be, again, in the sign of Virgo. It's going to be in your 10th house to begin. And Venus in Virgo really does not, it's an approval-seeking position. And so it's going to be important. Your 10th house is the house of career, co-workers, etc. And we know that you, Sagittarius, do like to assert your opinions. And Virgo is also a sign that likes to assert opinions. But it's going to be important that you do that in a way that your coworkers can hear you. So they're not hearing it and kind of jumping back, but they actually are hearing it and absorbing it. And if you can do that, you're going to have a lot of success this month in career. When Venus moves into Libra in the 11th house, like Jamie said, it's going to be really great for your social life. And you love to be social. So, make plans with friends, do things that are going to be fun, that get you out there, that get you seen. And it's going to be a really nice month for you in that respect, especially in the later half. And Mars is going to be in your 10th house all month. So Mars is about getting the work done. So you're, even though you, Sag, maybe working really hard isn't your favorite thing because you like to kind of get the work done that's fun, know that this is a really important month to just do the work and just do some of the things that you don't want to do, some of the things like spreadsheets and contact building and whatnot, because it's really going to pay off. And we have something really cool happening in the 10th house for you this month, and that's happening early in the month on September 3rd, and it's called Heroic Epiphany Day. Similar to what Julia talked about, this is when Mars comes into conjunction with the sun, and it's going to give you a burst of energy and really an ability to know what needs to happen, how to prioritize your work this month so that you can absolutely make the most of all of this Mars in Virgo energy that you're going to have to harness. And I think that's all I have. Jamie, what do you have?
Well, I just want to piggyback off of what you were just saying because as Mars continues in Virgo this month, bringing all of that drive and energy and maybe a little irritation and impatience to the arena of career for you, Sagittarius, there's going to be a little break in the action right around this big, beautiful harvest moon that's coming. The harvest moon is what we call the moon that happens during Virgo, and that moon falls in Pisces, which is a wonderful, fertile position for the moon to be in, a great sign placement for the moon. And in this particular case, it happens to be conjuncting Neptune really closely, as you can see. And then the sun is here with Mars up in your 10th house. So while for most of the month, there will be a lot of career activity going on for you, and it may feel frenetic at times. Right around the harvest moon is a time to take a little break and experience a kind of a bit of a respite, like an oasis in amidst all of that, and just relax, refresh yourself. This falls in your house of home, and that is going to pull you inward. And so, I say don't view it as something that pulls you away from career, but view it as something introducing some rhythm into the month, and let it pull you in, because you being Sagittarius will bounce back for sure. So that little break should be really welcome. A little bit further along in the month, on the 18th, we can see that Saturn, which has been retrograde for several months, turns direct right here on the 18th, and it's traveling along through your second house, which is the house of money and physical and financial security. Now, when Saturn passes through the second house, there's a feeling of limitation and restriction and constriction that happens. And it can be really about a 2.5 year period of feeling like you maybe should tighten your belt financially, and get maybe better organized, or set some financial goals for yourself. And while all of that is true, it might be that in the last several months, while Saturn was retrograde, you might be feeling like you're spinning your wheels. You're putting in the effort, but the reward is not coming. And, when is that finally going to happen? Well, at this point is probably when it's finally going to happen. You might feel like, the leash is loosened, the gloves are off, and in that arena of financial organization, you can begin to move forward. So that strikes me as something of a relief. And then the next thing that comes along on the 21st is that Jupiter and Neptune are in their final pass of the square that they have been doing this year, in mutable signs, one of which is yours. And so one thing I want to say to you is that Jupiter has been in your sign this year, and that has been wonderful. And it's going to go on for a couple of more months. And so, there's a bit of a caution there. Don't get too full of yourself. We know you're a natural born leader, and now is definitely the time to be following what excites you the most, following your enthusiasm, and the likelihood of your being more charismatic than usual this year is certainly very great. But the square between Jupiter and Neptune has kind of resulted in, like that quote from The Mask, "Somebody stop me." And there hasn't been much of anything to stop you. So it's a really good time to just look around for, is there any place where you've been too opinionated, where your head is just too big, you're too big for your britches, you're not persuading people, you're overwhelming them, and just take a step back and really feel into the situation, and find your grounding. That's really the antidote for Jupiter squared Neptune. And after Jupiter moves away from the square to Neptune, there will be another month or so where you can really enjoy Jupiter's passage through Sagittarius before it moves into Capricorn, coming later this year. Then the last thing I wanted to show you is that later in the month, on the 28th, we've got a new moon in Libra, which is falling in your 11th house. And right here it is. New moons are beginnings. They're planting the seeds for the future. This is in your 11th house of friends, communities, networks. It's the house where you find your tribe, the people of like mind that you belong with. So this new moon, even though it's the dark time of the moon and kind of an introverted feel, could be a time when you discover a new community, a new circle of friends, and also, as Julia mentioned, this is the house of social media. And this is the house of income generated by your business, because this is the second house from the 10th house. And so there could be some planting of seeds around any and all of those topics. So that's what we have for you, Sagittarius. And remember, your birthday is coming soon. It'll be here before you know it. You might want to think about getting a birthday reading and scheduling that in advance, because you never know, you might want to travel for your birthday. It can turn out that your solar return in a different location may yield a better chart for you this year. So that's a thought. You might also think about a career reading too, because those planets early in the month in your 10th house might have you really thinking deeply about career and long-term plans about that. Well, that's what we have for you this month, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed it. Come back next month and visit our YouTube channel. Look in the playlists. We'll have all the horoscopes there for next month, and we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.